Have you ever met someone whose silence spoke louder than words? This is the story of Arif, a man whose life wasn't defined by what he lacked, but by the quiet dignity he possessed. Arif was poor, not the kind of poverty you see in dramatic movies, but a silent, everyday struggle. His clothes were worn, his meals were simple, and his home was modest. Yet, there was a certain grace in the way he carried himself, a strength that didn't need to be announced. People in his community saw his hardship. They felt a pang of pity, a quiet sorrow for his circumstances. They'd offer him small kindnesses, a bit of food here, some old clothes there. And while Arif would accept these gestures with a polite nod and a soft thank you, he never once asked for them. He never stood with his hand outstretched, waiting for the world to feel sorry for him. There was a profound understanding in his eyes. He knew that sympathy, while well-intentioned, can be a double-edged sword. It can provide temporary relief, but it often comes at a cost. Pity has a way of making you feel smaller, of shrinking your spirit, until you start to see yourself through the lens of others' sorrow. Arif was not willing to pay that price. He refused to let the weight of someone else's pity crush his own self. Instead of recounting tales of his struggles, he filled his days with small, honest jobs. He would mend shoes, carry goods at the market, or help with repairs, anything that allowed him to earn his keep. The work was hard, and the pay was often meager. There were days when hunger was a close companion, and the cold of winter seeped into his bones. He faced these hardships head-on, with a resilience that was both stoic and inspiring. He accepted the struggle, but he never, ever accepted defeat. His self-respect was a fortress, and he guarded it fiercely. Many well-meaning friends and neighbors would advise him differently. "Arif," they'd say, "if you just told people your story, they would help you more. Share your pain. Let them see what you've been through." They saw his suffering as a key that could unlock the door to charity and support. But to Arif, this advice felt wrong. He refused to turn his life's challenges into a performance. He wouldn't sell his story for a few coins or a basket of food. His pain was his own. It had shaped him, but it would not be a currency he used to trade for sympathy. He understood a fundamental truth that many overlook. Self-worth, once lost, is far harder to reclaim than any amount of money. The help he might receive from a pitiful story would be fleeting, but the loss of his dignity would be a permanent wound. Arif believed that true wealth wasn't measured in possessions, but in the strength of one's character. He saw that self-worth was the most valuable asset a person could own, more precious than gold, more lasting than any temporary aid. While others might have spent their energy blaming fate or cursing their circumstances, Arif chose a different path. He chose responsibility. He owned his life, his choices, and his struggles. He saw himself not as a victim of life's cruelty, but as the captain of his own small, weathered ship, navigating a stormy sea with courage and resolve. This shift in perspective was everything. By refusing to play the victim, he wasn't just surviving, he was building something far more significant. Over time, something remarkable happened. The initial pity that people felt for Arif slowly transformed into something else entirely. Respect. They saw a man who, despite having every reason to complain, chose to stand tall. They saw integrity in his tired hands and honor in his quiet gaze. His strength became a quiet lesson for the entire community. When people needed someone they could rely on, someone whose word was their bond, they went to Arif. His reputation for honesty and resilience grew, and with it came trust. People didn't just want to help him anymore. They wanted to be associated with him. They offered him better work, not out of pity, but because they knew he was dependable and hardworking. His refusal to beg for sympathy had earned him something far more valuable: genuine admiration and opportunity. His life was still simple, but it was rich with respect and the quiet satisfaction of knowing he had built it himself, on his own terms. Arif's story teaches us a powerful lesson. It's not poverty that makes a person weak. It's the loss of self-respect. When you trade your dignity for a moment of relief, you lose a part of yourself that is incredibly difficult to get back. Sympathy can feel like a lifeline in a storm, but it's often just a temporary float. Dignity, on the other hand, is the skill of learning to swim. It's what builds a stronger future, one that isn't dependent on the goodwill of others. When you refuse to see yourself as a victim, when you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, you tap into a source of strength you never knew you had. You discover that your spirit is more resilient than your circumstances. Arif's quiet poverty was a testament to the fact that a person's true value is not in their wallet, but in their soul. He showed the world that even in the harshest of conditions, a person can choose honor over pity, and in doing so, find a wealth that can never be taken away. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires and uplifts. We'll see you in the next video.